This will need a lot more than just putting a little slip of sandpaper and pulling it out. We're going to hit this with the die grinder and get the worst of it right here. And then this area here at the top where it goes down to 0, we'll get that with the sandpaper. We'd be here forever just using the sandpaper on its own. I have masked this off with masking tape where it goes from 0 to about 1.6 millimeters. That's going to allow us to tip the neck back. And I don't usually put a filler strip in here, but this neck is so drastically out of alignment that we are going to put a piece of rosewood in here, and I'll walk you through that as well. Here's the die grinder. Giddy up. We have a piece of koa that's been glued to the underside of that fingerboard extension just to give us a little bit more depth to play with. Because of the neck angle from the factory on this, that fingerboard is very thin, so I really don't want to thin it out anymore. This is the area where we are going to correct the neck. So we're going to do that first. We're going to level that out. We'll get a reed full length. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. This was drastically out of whack from the factory. So we're going to correct that, then we're going to come back and we'll get a reed full length to where the bridge is, because that bridge is coming off and we'll be replacing it with a full thickness style bridge. Next step is to level this area right here. We are going to get right down to work here with some 60 grit and take that spot down in a hurry. It's definitely taking care of the lion's share of it. Now we're stepping down to 80 grit. 120 grit. Okay, we're ready to put our pilot frets in and get that final read on the neck angle. But I have a slightly different setup for that. You have seen this in past videos. You can see that we're losing that pearl dot. That's to be expected with the amount that we had to take off here. We have the continuing saga of the 1970 J45 Deluxe. Now the neck set was so far out of whack from the factory on this, and you can see how they shaved that bridge down, that's right from the factory, that we had to make some pretty drastic moves to correct this. So before I go any further, I wanted to pull this apart and kind of show you what we've got at this stage. For those of you who are watching my videos, you see I almost never put a shim under there. If you have enough natural thickness in the fingerboard, you can correct that neck to body junction without putting a shim in. But this case was an exception. So first of all, this is the geometry we needed to get that neck set perfect. And this is a piece of walnut. I'll be using that as a model for the actual rosewood wedge. Just clamping that back in place for a second, just to explain the geometry we're faced with here. I will go ahead and make up that rosewood wedge, and I'll show you how I do that as well. Before I do, as you can see, I've got my 3rd and 12th fret in. They're my pilot frets, and they give me the reality check on that final neck angle to the bridge that I'll need to get the correct height. When I put that straight edge on and I slide up to the bridge, so that is the height that we're looking at. We will have a little bit of forgiveness to increase this back a little bit further. When we have a full thickness bridge on here, I'll be replacing that bridge, that straight edge will just kiss that bridge as it should, and that's going to allow us to adjust the action. So when we raise the strings up, we get that optimal 9/16 inch height on the low E string. So we're not completely done with the neck angle yet, but we are a lot closer. I'm going to pull my shim out. This is the walnut one. We're going to make a rosewood shim, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Got a white grease pencil to trace that out. It's a tiny bit oversized. We'll start with the bandsaw. It's a two-sided tape. And we'll stick that to our UHMD. And now we're over to the drill press conversion kit disc sander. So this is how we create the wedge. We're bringing this edge down to 0 and try to leave this as close to full thickness as we can. And this is how we do it. I've got 60 grit on there. Just going to turn the dust collector on. The rest I'm going to scrape with a razor blade. Scrape that. Okay, we're back to the guitar. One last check with our pilot frets. And yeah, I'm good with that. Now we have the actual rosewood shim under there. And we're going to get ready to glue that into place. I'm going to bring this down closer to its final dimension now. A couple more points of interest with this model of guitar this year, the newer tooling. Obviously they were changing it up. You can see these two holes here where some type of indexing dowel or something would go in there to hold the neck in place while the dovetail was cut. Well, it must have been a pretty new experiment because they weren't even close with that neck to body angle on this one. I do have a piece of koa there, and you can also see now why I made that undercut, because we need to glue that shim, and we need the room to do that. I still have that shim very slightly oversized. We will work it down after the glue sets. As you can see, I've got saran wrap there because I'm not gluing the neck on yet. I'm just gluing the shim. I want to make sure that that's the only thing that sticks. In this case, I am using the aliphatic glue, or yellow carpenter's glue as it's more commonly referred to. Okay, we'll get that glue squeeze. We'll let that set till after lunch. Well, you get 100 guitar techs and 100 different luthiers, 100 different builders, and you'll see 100 different ways on how to do this. Now this is how I set up on the tech deck. That chunk of steel is my arbor press table, and I have that maple wedge with an oversized dovetail cut in it. I'll bring you back to this setup when I do the final adjustment, and it will make a lot more sense.